What's up everybody, welcome back to the One Plot Challenge here in Alchemy Factory. You're watching One Last Turn. Let's just get right into business. Today we are going a little bit back in, well maybe not time, but at least back in the upgrade or research tree. Picking up some stuff that we're missing, namely the Mars Relic. That is the main goal. The secondary goal is to hopefully get the panacea potion setup that we have to run a little bit more consistently. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to sort of bypass the buffering that we have going on. At least that way we can sort of skip the places that are already full of fuel, and they're gonna burn forever. These ones, they take 0 heat and they have like a million in store, so they're gonna burn forever. We just have to remember to re-enable it later on, otherwise we're gonna have some issues. But yeah, we'll throw a couple into this one. Obviously our world tree is one of the big eaters of energy, and the other one here is the Gentian. And then we have the brandy being a bit on the slow side. Oh, now why is that? The brandy should be pretty continuous. I guess it is now. Right, it is because we are running like at a third the pace of, or at a third the amount of brandy that we actually need to produce these 150 aquavitae. So this setup is gonna have to increase, but hopefully this cutting some of the buffers here is gonna help out with getting a more smooth run going, and hopefully we get some panacea potions starting to buffer up here down here, which is definitely one place that we have a bottleneck. If we can get to buffer on the world tree as well, that would be really nice. But we'll have to check up every once in a while. Now, I realized something, and that is you can actually copy and paste these stairs. We don't have to build them every time, we just have to place a quarter tile there. That way we can put the stairs down, no issues. So that is I mean, it's annoying that it took me so long to realize, but it's nice that we can now just throw up new floors with much more ease. We are gonna build a new floor for the Did I place it right though? I think I did. Anyway, we are gonna build a new floor for the Mars. First, before we do anything, we gotta unlock it, but we also just gotta get some money so we can. Now, we could have just skipped this sort of, and we did, but we do need it, not for the Venus relic, but in the end here for the soul we need one of each of the relics, so we are gonna need to build it eventually, and I think now is as good a time as any to do that. So that is what we're gonna do. I want to just throw some money into the extra wood machine that we have going here. 10 should be enough. Let's also do it for stone, and let's just grab the excess wood that we have down here. See if any of our quests are doable. Unstable Catalyst and Saturns we can do. So maybe we should do that one. Keep that in mind if we can. 130%, I mean 30% extra is 30% extra, so might as well, right? Anywho, let's get back to building our Mars floor. And one could probably argue that the Mars build should be lower down the building, but at this point in time at least I can't really be bothered to redo the floors, but we might do it at some point in the future. Who knows? We do also have a point. I think maybe in the next episode we are gonna have just gonna throw down these stairs. Wait. Oh, we don't have enough nails. Guess I'm not throwing down those stairs then. Though what I was saying is I think in the next episode I think we're gonna unlock, we might as well unlock it now. It's not gonna make a difference. We're gonna unlock this thermal extractor, and we're gonna build up to the height where the thermal extractors are most efficient, and then we're gonna move all of our liquid production up there. Or at least the extractor productions, we're gonna move that up there, and then, like I said in the earlier episode, and last episode, we're gonna start drawing pipes down, and using those instead of having, for example, the wine here, instead of having these scattered throughout the floors. They're quite chunky and stuff like that, and they're about a third as efficient. Obviously it takes some fuel, but with the Panacea potions hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. Anyways, we'll be doing that, and then we'll maybe probably also be redoing our infrastructure, elevators here and stuff like that. Do sort of like a bottle episode basically is what I'm thinking, where we don't really advance, but we do some much needed maintenance and upgrades of our infrastructure. Now the Mars is iron nails, steel, bronze rivets, and copper bearings. And steel is really what's gonna be the more difficult part of this build. One reason why this build might make sense to have on a lower floor is that I would like to use growth potions instead of the Panacea potions, just because we can really, but also, I mean, because the Panacea potions aren't really ready yet to be used in larger builds, and I sort of want it to actually be fully operational. So we might need to expand the growth potion. I think we have enough plants that we can just double the rest, and we should be fine. Obviously the brine is something that needs to be increased then as well, but we'll maybe take a look at that. Who knows, maybe it won't be as necessary as I'm thinking. Maybe we can just run on the existing growth potions that we have. We're just gonna have to elevate it a bit, and That is okay, I think. So I'm not really seeing any panacea potions now that I was up here. Why is that? That is because of the... It's not because of the aqua vitae. It's the brandy that's sort of holding the pace right now. Oh, and we are in the negative. Whoops, didn't mean to step out there. Just wanted to see, yeah, so our Saturn is not selling like we wanted to, and that is basically what does it. Okay. We are spending quite a bit of money on these seeds. That has also increased now because we are running our fertile catalysts a lot more. We're spending quite a bit of money on salt. We'll have to see at some point whether we can do something about that. I think we still have the money to support it, but obviously if we keep being in the negative, then that is not gonna last forever. Anywho, let's get back to the Mars. Let's start with the easier parts, which is the cup bearings, and the build part is pretty straightforward. It's gonna be a bit different because we are doing this, what do you say, space restriction. We can't just use our copper build that we have right now. While it is the most money efficient, so profit ratio with the Mars, it just takes way too much space. It takes up basically 2 of these, and we're gonna need like 10 of them, so we'd have to build just the copper and bronze part. That would be 2 floors alone, maybe even 3. And then comes the steel, which is also quite a bit of a hassle. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use an alternate, and I didn't research it and I threw away all our money. That's great. We're going to use an alternate recipe for copper. Let's just see how does our quests look. We could do this one as well, maybe. But yeah, so this alternate recipe for copper. Actually, let's just do these quests while we're at it. We need some black powder, some steel gears was down here. Some malachite is upstairs. Steel gears is over here. No, this alternate recipe for copper basically means you can take copper coins and you can make it into copper ingots. You can do it the other way around as well. We already did that. That's this recipe, but you can turn them back. You can't just do back and forth. There's a loss, but this space-wise, this is definitely the easiest way to get a bunch of copper bearings. So that is what we're gonna do. Let's get us some of our malachites. Are we... This isn't running. That's good to know. But I mean, we aren't really selling either, so it's not like it's an issue. We should probably... Oh, it is running. We aren't completely full yet, but eventually we will be. let's just, I think the way to do this would be have a bank box here. Ignore this one. Can we throw money in like this? We cannot. Go over here. That way we throw it into like this, and then we can have a box with the silver, and that's gonna last a whole lot longer. We have some copper coins on us that we can get rid of at some point. But that was not what I needed to do. Let's just throw in a box here to gather some black powder. You know what, actually, let's just do that upstairs where there's a bit bigger supply. Smaller box. And then we need some unstable catalysts. That is one floor up. This is the fertile ones. Whoops. Let's get those back on the line. Get the unstable ones instead. Now, why is this not running? Because this one doesn't have any fertilizer. Growth potion isn't backed up anymore, so we might actually be running at the limitations of our growth potions here, and we might have to fix that. What I wanted to show you is, let's see here, with the kiln, we have a recipe for copper ingots, and it takes a couple coins and it makes ingots, and then we just need a processor. For making copper bearings, and that does, it doubles it. How much do we need? We need 120, so we need 60, so we need 6 of these. And we'll just get this side. No, we can't do it like that. Let's see, can we... I was thinking, can we build on top of these? We can. With that hole there. Then we can't, okay. Yeah, so we can only do it with the hole there. I guess if we do this, we could put it on top, couldn't we? That does fit. And then we just need our processor for each of them, and let's just get a box out that they can sit on. Then we would have to scaffold that as well. Let's see here. Can't we do something like this? And then the processor with the recipe, and then a lab stand. Then we need that fits with they're overlapping. What's overlapping? There we go, and then we don't need the top support up here. But we can take these and just put them in front of the machines. And then we should, just to make everything easier for ourselves, we take the product down here, and then these ones up here, we flip those instead. We need to get up there. See here, 6, and then we flip it and we give it the recipe. Oh, that doesn't flip the... It flips both. I was just thinking that would be really smart, then we could if we just can flip the output, then we can get the conveyor to go down on the side here, but instead we're gonna have to do something else. But that's gonna be fine as well. It's no problem. Just put it in regularly. Set the recipe. And then we'll grab it to go down like that. Then we need fuel to go in here. And it will also be carried up here. We need lab stands, we need more nails. Are we making some excess nails here? I think we are somewhere. Maybe not. Right here. This is excess nails, I believe. Yep. So this is one belt of copper bearings. We get coins to go in to here. We're out of wood. Did we at least get some new wood going then? Plenty. Wonderful. So many stairs. Then we somehow need to get... Let's just go get the black powder and then do the quests so we can empty out the inventory a bit. That's great. Get rid of the copper as well. Then we just gotta climb those stairs. But anyways, that footprint size there is gonna be the copper bearings, and that's really nice and small comparatively, compared to what it could be if we were to do a regular setup. So I'm quite pleased with that. We just somehow have to just get rid of this. Hopefully we are in profit with that quest income. Yeah, but without it, it's looking quite rough. Anywho, we will be getting fuel in from here, and then we need the bank portal. I think we're gonna do it like this. And then I believe, yeah, we can build on top of the bank portal. Gives us what we need, the copper coins to go upstairs, and that is probably as compact as it can be, and I think that is pretty decently sized. I think there is a possibility to do it with cauldrons, but as far as I can tell, I haven't been able to find a recipe where it becomes cheaper than doing this with coins. So that is what we're gonna do. Nice and small build. We'll get we can move it in a little bit. Just need to make sure we have one room there for the infrastructure belts. We'll get money to flow around this way. We'll get fuel to go in this way. Okay, so that is the copper bearings. Then we need the bronze rivets. And the bronze rivets we can make using cauldrons, and a recipe that is relatively acceptable is what I would call it. At least it is what it is gonna be. I mean, there isn't really much we can do to avoid it. If we wanna avoid having that giant ass setup, that is just the way that we are gonna have to do it. So let's throw down a cauldron so we can find that recipe. And I believe it is lavender and it is flax, and it is sage. That gives us impure copper powder, which gives us bronze. Now it gives us 18, which is a 1-to-1 for bars. They just need to be thrown into some cauldrons. No, not cauldrons. What are they called? Crucibles. And then we need to put them through the machine here, which triples the output. So one cauldron makes, what's that? That's 30, 46, 40, 47, 55 and a half. 55 and a half. And we need 240. So how many is that? That's 4 to make 222. So a little over 4 to make 240. So we need 5. It's quite annoying because I don't think making 5 is all that easy. What do I want to do? I want to make one of these. Now there is room on the floor, so maybe we can do it. We just have to make the right scaffolding on each side. So if we do this, so that should work just fine. We should be able to take it and throw it onto the other side as well. And we can do it here in the front as well. So that is not the big issue, and then getting stuff down is basically just doing that in reverse. Now we do want to make sure we can get fuel in there, so remember to put that in. This isn't gonna exceed our belt limits either, so that's good. Let's just throw down some of these so we can stand somewhere. Go. Now that is quite compact, and we might just Maybe we should just replace what we've been doing on the other cauldron towers with something like this, but we'll have to see. But this should be enough. Now we just need 1 lavender, 1 flax, and 1 sage. We need some iron for that. Well, that's the world tree just sticking through. Does that mean it means it upgraded? That also means we should throw in a filter splitter here. Otherwise, we will have some issues. Don't want these cores to go upstairs. This is stopped. This is still running. This is still running. It's the brandy. We have fertilizer, so it is still running. Should be good. We are building a buffer here, which is okay. We needed some iron, which should be in our waste basket here. Wonderful. Now, we were building nurseries. Throw 1 nursery here. Not using red currant. Quite annoying with that. Those belts there from the copy paste, they sort of retained some of their directionality, which isn't necessarily an issue, but what it does do is it would throw one of each of the items. It would throw it, I don't know what you call it, out. It would make it so that it gets pushed in that direction. Anywho, gotta get the seeds at some point, but for now, you can just set them up. Like so. Go. That is probably as compact as it's ever gonna get. So now we're just missing the seeds, and we should have a purchasing portal down here with some flax seeds, and let's change that to sage seeds. And then we need a lavender seed. Needs a lot more money for lavender though. Do we have that money here? We do. Then let's change it back to portal sigils. And it doesn't really matter which plant is in which nursery. So that is the impure copper powder that we want. Now we need to turn it into ingots. And I wonder if using stackable crucibles is gonna help us in any way with regards to dimensionality. Probably is. Pretty sure it burns 1-to-1. Should be able to see that down here somewhere. It does burn 1-to-1. So we are going to need 24, I think. No, sorry, 8. Are gonna need 8 because it triples in the processor. Gonna need 8, which is gonna be 3 of these. Let's just move that so it aligns better, and let's get rid of one of them. Well, let's just leave it, but it's just not gonna have any input. And then we will build a wall back here that allows us to push it on top of ourselves, and then we need 8. Still not doing so well on the Saturn selling. That is it's not good. It's really not good. We're running at about 300 deficit, it seems. Gonna have to do something about that eventually. Probably sooner rather than later. We had about 2,000, right? So we probably have like this episode and halfway through the next before it becomes a big issue, but gotta keep it in mind. Anywho, we need 8 of these. And we will throw them in like this. Let's see here. How do we want to do the connecting part? I'm thinking we probably want to actually let's get him to the side where we don't use the crucible. Like so. And then we will have fuel going in like this. Well, that actually sort of alleviates it, so that is nice. that is all of our impure. It gets burned, turns into ingots. And then each of these need to be making bronze rivets. Whoops. Wrong button. Let's just paste the recipe here. Now, each floor here is going to be making a full belt. So we want to take them out on their individual lines. And just to be symmetrical, do it on the other side for the other one. And that is going to be our... I didn't want to cut it. I didn't want to... I did want to cut it. I didn't want to just do that. So this just takes fertilizer. And we could move it back once if I had made the entry point here instead. So let's do that. Right, so we have fuel running on this belt, and then we have fertilizer running on this belt here. And that should mean if we take this build here and move it, let's get rid of this wall here, then it would make it would mean that if I had placed it properly, so we get input from there. There we go. Now we get fertilizer like we wanted to. And we should move this over once. Like so. There we go. So that is our copper bearings, it's our bronze rivets. Then we need our iron nails and we need our steel gears. And the iron nails we can just get for free from leftover iron from the steel build. So what we really need to do is make the steel build. And the steel build needs to have 16 athanors. For steel, right? So we need to go 120, so that's 4 for 30 times 4, that's 16. And we need the same amount of iron, right, as extra input. We would need 120 iron as extra input. I think so. And then we need, so we need 200 iron because we also need 80 iron for nails. So we need 10 iron smelters. And then we need the coke powder. But let's see if we can't make a setup with 16 or at least 8 of these. I just want to see first though how our steel setup looks here. This is with 3. If we make it with 4 and then also flip it. Let's try and do that. Let's try and make it like this with the priority merger in between. And how does it stand? It stands on stackable crucibles. We probably want that. I could imagine to sort of incorporate the coke powder. Then again, let's just start with the athanors and see how big that gets. Ooh, getting a little dizzy there. So we need our athanor like that. And then we want to make steel. And then we want to take priority mergers. Oh, this was the... I think we want to do it the other way around. That. It could just flip it, I guess. Then we'll have our priority merger. So the iron goes out here and goes back in here. And then somehow we need to get coke powder into this belt here. So if we take this and we copy it and copy it and copy it, and then we want to do the sort of the same. On the opposite side. Let's see here. Priority merger like that. Like that, and then it goes out there. This needs to be flipped though, like that. We need more nails. Right, we need to have these separated, the coke belt separated, because they can only do 4 athanos per. Now if we can have this be the width, if this can be the width, then we're good. Then we can easily have that. That's not gonna be any issue whatsoever. Do need to get the steel away somehow. Obvious choice is to send it up, but then we can't gather it. Okay, a bit more Saturn selling there. Only 51 silver in negative. It's better, I guess, than nothing. Just trying to, I don't want to have to do another space. Could send it back towards the middle, above the Athanor. Can we do a lab stand on the Athanor? We can. So we can send it above the Athanor. That. mind that too much, to be honest. I mean, I was about to say we could have fuel flowing on the inside here. But it's not like it's gonna matter to the width, so I'd rather have it on the outside than I can see it. Okay, so that takes care of the steel. It moves it into the middle here. And then we need some processors. Not assemblers, just some regular processors, but we're out of wood. Let's hope our wood... Yeah, it is running, so we have plenty. That's good. Need our processors. How many do we need? Steel gears is a 1-to-1, so we need 8. Then we will just stack those. Like that. And this should give us half a belt. Another half belt on top. We could run it, like join it like this and have this run the other way. But it won't sort of easily fit. I mean, we can just, yeah, we can just do that with the other. We need 2 of these setups. So let's cut this and move this as far this is as far as it can go without issues. And then the question becomes, actually becomes twofold, because I forgot something. Forgot the extra supply of iron. Which has to go in has to go into this, into the priority merger. We can only get it from on top of here, I think. Okay, so we gotta get it in to this. The easiest way to do that is sort of like with a center belt, isn't it? Quite annoyingly. This does make the build very difficult to see what's going on inside on the belts, and I don't usually like that. Because it makes troubleshooting rather difficult. But sometimes that is just the hand that you're dealt. By yourself in this case. So we got iron on the top here, we get coke on the bottom, and we get fuel on the sides. Let's take out this one and the end here and that one. And we'll just reroute these to go this way. So that is the easy part actually, because now we gotta get all that extra iron. This one is gonna need 5. Well, it's gonna need... It can do with 4. It can do with 4. I'm just trying to think here. Is there a way where we can maybe sort of double up with stackable crucibles? We need coke powder. Just trying to see if there's a way, if we can sort of double up the coke and the iron into sort of one here. Because this would be the iron that we need, and it even creates a little bit excess. We don't have a way to get the excess iron out of here. Which could be an issue. Because then we have to put the right amount in here, and each of these only does 20. Right, and we need... So I'm just thinking here, we need 120 in total, so we need 60. We only need 3 of these. here, and then the extra 2 iron smelters we can just do with nails over here. How much coke do we need? We are gonna go the... So this is 1-to-1 and this is 1-to-1. And we need... Well, let's just go look at the existing setup. This is 20 and 20, but how about the crucibles? Which is sort of hidden away in here somewhere. They do 20 and 20 as well, okay. So we can do 2 per crusher. And we need a full belt. Right, we need a full belt on each side. So we need 246, 246, yeah, so this is the amount of crucibles we need. And we might as well have this iron thing here as well. And then we can just route the iron differently on this one smelter. This, however, I don't think we can have... It isn't going to be grinded, right? And we can have grinders on here, but I don't think we can put the crucible on top then, no. Oh, sorry, the furnace or whatever it is. So we can't stack like that. So we need to grind afterwards. How much does it... And I think actually it needs to be an enhanced grinder, because otherwise we need 2 grinders per crucible. So I don't actually think we can do it like this, at least. So how about we do it differently instead? If we cut this and sort of set it up this way instead and have a wall, we're gonna need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just need to have space for the fuel to go in. Like that. Does sort of make it a lot more wide, but width here doesn't seem to be the biggest issue. Only 3 Saturns? What's going on there? Okay, we gotta go check that out. 3 Saturns is way too little, and now customers are waiting. Something's definitely up. Let's see, Saturn was up there. Jupiters are running low on wood as usual. Saturn should be continuous. It is. So that's not the issue. We have 3 that hasn't been sold, so just customers that haven't purchased it. That's okay. That's acceptable. I mean, the only way we can speed this part up here is having another register, and I don't think I'm gonna go there yet. But we have 3 Saturns. We actually have many Saturns. There's like, we have 7 or 8 down here. Why aren't they being purchased? Aren't they accessible maybe? I'm gonna get rid of this one, because I don't really care about those. And then I'm gonna move the Jupiter one over here. That should allow access to Saturn, even though it did say there was access. I don't know, maybe we're just having bad luck with the customers. We do have 99 satisfaction, so it's not like there's an issue there. So I can't really tell what's going on. How is our quests? We could do this one. We could do this one if we wanted to use Panacea Potions, but we don't. Could do this one as well if we wanted to, but nah. Can't be bothered. Let's just finish up the Mars before we run out of time. This is the final day of the episode, so hopefully we'll make it. Otherwise we'll just have to hook it up in the end afterwards, or in the beginning of the next episode instead. I want to move this back a couple of spaces because we need space to do the grinding here. Okay, I'm just thinking. Maybe we don't actually. Maybe we do something smart. Maybe we do like our... I like that idea. Let's throw the grinders underneath the furnaces. We'll throw the crucibles on top like this, and then we'll have the iron smelters on top there. So we have if we make 2 of these, then that becomes our... So maybe let's go back to the idea from before. Let's take this, we cut it, and then we throw it like this. That's our coke. Not entirely. It would mean we need one more space for everything, but I can live with that. So let's just do that. We cut it and we throw it here in order to get fuel in on this side. Do need to move we do need to rotate the stone furnaces because fuel can't enter like this, or we can just maybe we do it like this instead, and we have fuel coming in here. Whoops. Then we have to get... This needs to go like that. The conveyor needs to go one out. This could work. There we go. That's fuel, and then we just run, whoops, these scaffoldings. Okay, so this works if we can get the coal in here, and we should be able to do that. It is a full line, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. That means if we have a full line and one crusher does 40, it does mean that we need 3 crushers. One, 2, and 3 per side, so we sort of need to stack those. First of all, we need to get some gears from all the way downstairs, because I think that's the only place we're actually making those. Our Saturns aren't really being bought, which I don't understand. That is our moneymaker. It is a big issue if they don't. I mean, it is also a money sink, so I guess we could just stop the production if we wanted to, and figure it out later. Okay. Let's duplicate this. Okay, and then we just need to get the iron. Out from there. Cool, so 2 things left to do here. We need to get coal in on this line here. And we need to get iron into the smelters. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the amount we need. Per. Which is annoying. Because we can't have 3 underneath one of these, but we can have 2. Just gonna get rid of this wall here for now. Actually, we can't even do this because we won't have room. We need the purchasing portal behind this. I guess we could put the portals on top, but it's not really gonna work. Right, we need the portal. Could run it here, but there has to be a wall. And we can't have a half wall or half floor on the staircase. I guess we could compact it once. There's one extra piece of space here that's not strictly necessary. That makes it fit perfectly okay. So let's do that. If we cut it and then we get it in like that, get rid of these 2 scaffolds, move this once forward. Can't have it all the way to the end here. Okay, there we go. There's some sales of Saturns. I don't know what happened. This should be fairly profitable. Yeah, very profitable indeed with that many sales. Well, this ended up being a much bigger project than I had anticipated when I started this recording. And we did make good progress on the Mars Relic setup, but unfortunately we are not gonna be able to finish it in this episode. So I'm gonna split it into 2 parts, and you'll get to see the rest of the build in the next video. Instead, I've already recorded some of it, because I thought maybe we could just squeeze it in here, but looking at the footage, it's just not possible, and we're gonna have to do two parts instead. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, of course, so you can follow along and don't be and be sure not to miss the next one. I'll see you then. If only we could just have one last turn, right?